This week we're carrying on the layout and we're going to finish one of our model kits.
I've cut this piece to height here, so that's level with that section. That piece just fits in there nicely. So then now I'm going to obviously just carve away this section so that that matches with the slope on the other section. So there, that's a bit better, isn't it? There. So obviously I'm going to get some plaster cloth and put that over there. We'll build it up a bit to make it look like how we want to, but that pretty much will, well, yeah, just about stays in. So now I'm going to, I've got to get this ballasting done. So I need to sort that out. I need to get a little eyedropper to do the ballasting, and I don't have one, so I'm going to have to order that. Once that comes in, we'll do the ballasting, and then I can glue these pieces in place once I've got that little ballasting done underneath there. And then we can carry on just finishing building up this section and then put our roof on. We've been neglecting our other tunnel a little bit on the other side. As you see, I've been putting pieces on and now that won't fit in there anymore. So I'm going to have to carve away this a little bit. So I think, yeah, I need to do a little bit of work here just to get this tunnel section in. And then we've got to decide where the other tunnel piece is going as well. So the second one on the outside track here. So I've got where the inside one goes, but yeah, the outside one, we need to think about that. So let's get this inside one positioned first, and then we'll think about the outside one. Well, as you see, we've got the tunnel portal in there now, so that sits in there nicely. Yeah, I've probably got too much hill here, so it's just going to block the whole train going in. I don't know if I want that. Maybe it could be an overhang. That's possible. There's like a little rock overhang or something that they've dug into. Maybe. I don't know. It looks a little bit unnatural. But then also we've got to decide where we want to put this other tunnel here. So maybe I want to do it straight in front. Maybe that's going to make my life a little bit easier. I need to get one out of the box so we can take a look. You can see here I've got another portal. And maybe it's going to be easier to do it behind. I could do it in front, I suppose, but then that's going to look silly. If I do it behind and move it that way, we won't see that section there, and that will just cover up, or just bring it right up to that sort of edge there, maybe. So maybe I'm going to cut a little bit of a hole in the foam here, get this tunnel portal settled, and we'll see. Now, obviously, I was intending to put the fake tunnel portals in, so I may have to just cut the hole a little bit bigger and position that in. That means cutting this little bit of wood here. So I'll see how that looks in a minute. But yeah, let's cut this foam out here so we can get this tunnel in behind here. I don't think it's going to look right if we put it too far forward. It's going to be better right back there. If I put it forward here, then I've got to make another section here that's going to need to be covered up. And again, it's a little bit difficult. There's not a lot of space there to do that. So I'm thinking that it's going to be better to put it back here. And then it's just easier to deal with. Well, we've got this in here, okay. I think probably it needs to come this way a little bit more. So I'm going to need to just dig out a little bit more of a hole there, just to push it a little bit more sideways so that we can just about see the edge of the tunnel there. I don't want to come too far because then it's going to get in the way of the track. But probably, yeah, just a little bit so that we can see the actual brickwork on the tunnel portal. And that will probably be enough then.
We couldn't have an episode without the Hoover, could we?
So one important thing, now I've moved this tunnel portal, is that we need to check the clearance. So I'm going to get a carriage coming down the hill, and we'll see how he fares. Here he comes. So there you can see just the clearance that we need. It is a bit tight, to be honest with you, on the curve, but it's not going to hit it. So that is just about the right place for our tunnel portal to be. So it's good. And I can't see it from the inside. There's no visibility there. So that's also good. And we've got a stable place to put it, to fix it down. So, and I've got the fake tunnel portal behind it. So I can fix that one in place, the fake tunnel portal, and then we're ready to put the real one in once we're ready. They don't look too bad there, do they? So I've got a little bit of work obviously to cover a few things up and carve a bit more foam, but actually they look okay. So I'm going to stick the fake tunnel portals, the wooden ones, in place, so then they're ready just to take the real ones at the front once I've tidied everything up and ready to put them in. Now I've got this other piece of foam that needs to go on this section. So obviously now I'm going to have to cut a small hole just here where that tunnel portal is, so that fits in. I can glue that in a little bit later on. So I've got plenty of space there now for that tunnel portal, and so this foam will sit on top. So I'm going to glue this section of foam on tonight. So then that's ready then to have its first piece of roof on as well. Again, I've got to ballast these little bits of track, so we've got to sort that out before we can put the roof on. But we're getting there. We're getting there on this hill as well. I'm getting all excited about finishing off my hill to put the roof on, and of course I forgot that I haven't put this tunnel portal in yet either. So now we need to position that one in. So he needs to come back a bit. I'm going to have to cut away some of this foam that we've got here on this section, so I'm going to cut away that foam just to be able to position him in place. Again, we've got the fake tunnel portal I'll put on there just temporarily to hold, so we can hold him in. But yeah, that's going to have to come over a bit, so I've got to cut away this first. Well, I've glued on that top section, the last top section there. So I've got the bricks on, of course, to hold it all down. And you look on the left, I've got a little wooden skewer that I've used just to hold the foam together so that it doesn't move around. I'll leave that overnight, and that will be nice and ready to dry. And then we can start looking at putting that big roof section on that I've got over here. So he's already ready painted to go on. So that will go on the top of all of that once that's all dried out, and we can start working out what we want to do on that side. Well, I've just noticed there's a couple of areas here and here and over here where I've got some holes. I haven't filled them in properly, so I'm going to get some of my fine surface filler and just fill in those holes a little bit to cover them over. There's a couple of places. So we are looking to build one of our signals. So they come in a little kit. There's some plastic pieces inside and some instructions. So let's open it up and see what we can see. So pull this all out. So we have our little instruction booklet. So it explains here, well, it's explaining the colours for the signals, so you can decide what type of signal that you want. And then of course now it's showing you all the different pieces that you need to glue together. So it's saying most parts are best painted before removing from the sprue. So the sprue is this plastic outside thing that holds all the pieces in. That's called a sprue. So it says they're better off painting them before. So black for the ladder, the safety hoop, the ladder stays, the back shade, the balance lever, the base and the post band. Rear of arm white with black band. Assemble in numerical order as per exploded diagram. Use a good sharp knife and a liquid polystyrene cement. So, okay, so we better paint these things first. There you go, look, that's easier to see what you need to paint. So these pieces at the bottom, they get painted black. That bit in the middle is white, the bit at the top is black, and then you do the signal colour. Now I will look for some red and black and white paint. There's my little sprue. So you can see the parts are so, well, let's see my finger. The parts are so delicate, tiny little parts. And here you go, you've got a choice of two signals. So you've got your home or your distant signal. So you may remember the home signal is the distant signal shows you what the next signal is going to be. And then the home signal is where the actual signal needs to be to stop something. So my distant signal can give me a warning to say that the home signal is in the stop position. So it's just like a warning light. Anyway, right, okay, so let's see if we can find some paint and start painting these pieces. And then we will remove them from the sprue after we have painted them. Well, I found all my colours. So I've got my black, my white, and my red. I'm going to just put a little blob of paint on the little plastic thing. I can use my paintbrush just to pick up the paint and then paint the pieces that I need to. So that's the black done. So we've painted all the black pieces. Unfortunately, I painted that one black and that one should be white. So I'm going to have to paint that white anyway, but I will put some white paint on the other bits so that it looks a bit brighter. The white plastic looks okay, but I think, yeah, maybe we'll put some white paint on those. And then I'm going to paint the signal red or yellow, depending which one I'm going to do. And then also I noticed there are some colour dots on this signal. So there's a red or a green dot, or a yellow and a green dot on the signals. So again, I'm going to need to find some green now, or some yellow, depending on which one I want to do. A top tip on painting as well, wear old clothes so you don't get paint or black paint on your nice new t-shirts. Well, we've painted all our pieces now, so both sides. Well, where it's needed, both sides. Not everything needs to be painted both sides. That's the base, so that will be on the floor. You won't see that. Now the next thing to do is to cut all the pieces from the sprue. So I've got my cutters that we can use to cut them from the sprue, and then I'll smooth off any of the bad edges using my nail file. And then once we've pulled all the pieces off, we can then follow the plan in terms of the assembly. So we'll carry on with that now, and hopefully at the end of it we'll have a built signal ready to use. As you can see, it is extremely fiddly trying to do these tiny little pieces. So I think I'm just going to have to take away the camera so that I can put my head very close to all these things so I can see to cut them out easier. So I won't film this particular bit, otherwise you'll just see my head all the time. Well, that's that signal finished. I think genuinely that is the most difficult and fiddly model that I have ever made in my life. And I've got 2 more to make. So anyway, we'll get on with the other 2 another day. I think I've had enough fiddly work for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
8:30 p.m. Weekdays and Sundays. The Down Coastal Special leaves Euston for Glasgow, Edinburgh and Aberdeen.